What is up, Drilla Nation? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what is it like to live alone. I've always wanted to kind of make this video, but I needed a bit more experience living alone and actually have some definitive answers for you guys. So I'm going to be talking about truths, pros, cons, whatever you name it. So I asked ChatGPT to cook up some questions because obviously I'm not going to be making this stuff up. It broke it down into 10 sections. Each section has 2 questions. So I'm going to be answering them in that regard. So the first section is experience and adaptations. So the first question is, how has living alone impacted my university and internship? The way it impacted me is genuinely my appreciation of time has increased tremendously. It also caused me to realize I wasted so much time in high school. I feel like in university you gotta be on top of your game. There's not much time to lack. You know what I mean? Even when you're on an internship, you're still working. You know, you want to make the most of it, obviously, because if you have experience and you have a better opportunity to get a job after uni, you actually want to perform and learn because they always say you learn on the job, right? So appreciation of time has definitely increased, and it obviously affected me in other ways, but I feel like you got to be a bit more direct with your question. So we'll continue on. You feel me? So the next question is, what are some of the biggest challenges I faced when I moved out and how did I overcome them? So honestly, the biggest challenge for me is just cooking. In terms of a responsibility standpoint, it was anticipated. So it wasn't a huge challenge to gain responsibility. It was more of maintaining the level of responsibility and stay consistent. But the biggest one of it was cooking because I never cooked because I have my mother. I never had to cook. If I ever asked to help, they usually would just be like, just get out of here, you know what I mean? But I knew how to cook and I observed. So my cooking is not great. I've tried meal prepping. It's not for me. I cook very basic meals. And it's funny because I just said time management, right? But I don't time manage a long period of time to cook. I usually just get hungry and I want to eat. So I cook very basic stuff: chicken rice, salmon rice, beef and rice, pasta sometimes, with chicken or something. Nothing out of the ordinary. And I can't even make the excuse, you got guys like the golden balance, mashallah, not always, no, bismillah, that guy cooks, he makes some fantastic stuff. And he sometimes even makes 20 minutes, you can make this. I ain't making that, you know what I mean? So I don't find it therapeutic. A lot of people actually enjoy cooking. I don't, you know, it's annoying. So the second section is daily life and routine. And the first question is, what is your daily routine? What does your day consist of? And honestly, you could watch it in one of my videos. I'll put it maybe here or here. I don't know. I'm gonna try and be like a YouTuber, you know what I mean? There's always things to do. You just gotta go do it. You know what I mean? It's very repetitive. Obviously, life is kind of like that. Unless you're super rich and can do whatever you want. I'm not rich. So the budget channel is still going strong. I'm still on an iPhone 11. Please, I'm joking. Inshallah, I'll buy a new phone. The next question in the daily life and routine is, how do I balance my daily life stuff, like school and university, and my household chores? And honestly, in terms of household chores, is when you come back from school and you come back from uni, you just got to be on top of your game. Like me and Adam, for example, or even when I lived alone, I made sure that on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever, uh, deep clean. We have to clean. It only takes us an hour, maybe two. And that's if we're super lazy. But then throughout the week, obviously, you keep it tidy. You don't want to be a dirty person, and you also never know. I'm not like that. I live in a 1 bedroom apartment with another guy, but you never know if you have visitors, you know what I mean? And you also they that saying, feel good, look good, or sorry, feel good, look good, feel good. You know what I mean? It's kind of true. I don't want to be in a swamp of ass. You know what I mean? I'm trying to live comfortably. I'm not trying to live in a dirty and manner. You know what I mean? So right. So the third section is skills and independence. So the third question is, what are some of the skills that you've learned living alone? And honestly, I can say that the skill that I've gained the most is time management, or productivity, discipline. Obviously, I lack a lot. As you guys can see, the YouTube channel is not disciplined whatsoever. I do a lot, alhamdulillah, I try my best. I'm trying very hard to do a lot of things, and I'm just trying to make the most of it, honestly. So in terms of time management, I would say is a big skill that improved. I obviously still had time management, but I definitely increased living alone. You have more responsibility. So I guess in that regard, that's a huge skill that I learned while I was living alone. The second question in this section is, how has living alone affected your self-reliance? And honestly, I am very happy that through like my time management, through like me living alone, that I am very self-dependent. Like I have learned that. And by the way, guys, this is all my personal experiences. I've done a lot by myself. Obviously, I still had support. Like I knew that I would, if I needed someone to, lean on or something like that, I would have the support. But alhamdulillah, I haven't like used that. It's important to be self-reliant as well, especially as a man. At least my opinion, of course. If you're trying to be a man, you want to take care of somebody. If you want to be self-reliant, or if you want somebody to be reliant on you, or you want to take care of somebody, you obviously have to be self-reliant first. So that good old saying, you can't love somebody before you love yourself. Literally the same thing. Anyways, the fourth section is social life. This is actually a very good one, in my opinion. The first question is, how do I maintain my social connections while living alone? This is fantastic for the guys that are watching. I'm so sorry for any girls that are watching. I don't even know if girls watch me, but whatever. Anyways, guys are so low maintenance. Well, at least my friends. And I am also low maintenance. Like I don't need my buddy calling me every day or messaging me every day like, yo, how are you? What's good? You know what I mean? Sure, it's the same with girls, but I go months without messaging some friends, knowing that when I do message them or they message me or whatever the case may be, that it will pick up where it left off. Because we have that type of relationship and we have that type of friendship. And it's very important to have. If obviously your relationship stems with like reliance, you got to talk to this person every day or something like that, then that's different. But I would confidently say like majority of my friendships are like that. So it's good to have those type of friendships and good to have those type of relationships, but you should definitely obviously reach out to people. Having social connections and having friends is very, very important. I'm not saying be a lone wolf, or anything like that. I'm not cringe. Definitely, your circle is very important. I'm very happy for the circle I have. The second question is, have I found it difficult to balance my social life and my personal life? Like, how do I balance between them? And honestly, majority of my time is personal time, right? Because number one, I live away from home, and majority of my friends are at home. So majority of my time is personal time. But then, for example, like when I moved out, I had to make friends, right? So those relationships are a bit different. If one of my friends that I've made new in university or here, they're like, oh, yo, do you want to hang out? And I am busy. I will tell them, hey, man, I'm busy. I can't hang out. And people usually, majority of the time, they understand. Obviously, maybe you don't have to explain yourself, but, a little explanation goes a long way sometimes if you want to share that with somebody. But, it's good. I'm very glad, like, my understandings and my friendships and my relationships with people is very clear cut. I don't leave anything ambiguous, which is very important. I say the way I feel. I don't really care if they don't like it. Don't get me wrong. If they don't like it and they tell me, then I respect that. Like that's very important, and they should. If they don't, I think that's a bit childish. I'm 22 years of age now. I'm getting old, but yeah, you know what I mean. So for number 5 is mental and emotional health. This one's also important. The first question for mental and emotional health is, how do I cope with loneliness and homesickness? This is a fantastic question. So let's just start with loneliness first. When I feel lonely, because I do feel lonely sometimes, like I'm literally talking to a camera right now in an apartment alone. I'm basically lonely right now. I'm joking. I count my blessings. Honestly, you count your blessings for 5 seconds and you realize how not lonely you are. You know what I mean? You feel significant when you count your blessings. I could talk, I could walk, I could feel, I could smell. I have a roof over my head. I have the opportunity. I'm on an internship. I'm going to school. I'm doing it. You count your blessings for 5 seconds, bro. You get up and you start being productive. Simple as that. But it is important to be human. It's good. It's okay to feel lonely. I feel lonely sometimes. Perfectly okay. I have nothing against it. I think it's very important to be human. So then the homesickness one is, call your home. Call your parents. Call your dad. Call your mom. Call your siblings. It's important. Like I call my parents every day, or at least I try to. Like even if it's like the most brain rot conversation, I don't care. You know what I mean? You appreciate who you love and who loves you. And if you have the opportunity to visit, you visit. Obviously, when I was in Edmonton and Calgary, like it's a 3-hour drive. I would get home every 2 weeks. I love that. Here, I go 3 months. Like I don't go back often. I'm very grateful that I go back still. I have the opportunity. People spend a lot of time, but it sucks. So be appreciative of what you have, and that will go a long way. It will go a long way. And if you genuinely need people, like if you're very lonely and you fear that you might do something wrong, try and have a support system around you. That's just my opinion, of course. I'm not a professional therapist or life coach or anything. Please take this stuff with a grain of salt, please. It only works for me. And then the last question in this section before I wrap this section up, and then I'll go to the gym, and then I'll take you guys with me, is what strategies do I use to maintain my mental and emotional well-being? And genuinely, alhamdulillah, is through my prayers and my dhikr. Pray 5 times a day, alhamdulillah. And dhikr means remembering Allah, like remembering my purpose, remembering just saying alhamdulillah, astaghfirullah, may God forgive me if I've had shortcomings, just simple stuff. Um, like I said, I feel lonely. That people unfortunately have it worse than you, anybody. And people will kill to be in the opportunity that you have. So genuinely be happy, or at least try. Be grateful. Be very, very grateful for what you have. I was gonna say this, like I used to watch like these those like shorts, and they're like I could practice gratitude. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, get out of here, man. Like this is when I was 17, 18. And then now, like I look at it and I'm like, bro, they were talking, like they were speaking facts. You know what I mean? Like when you practice gratitude, you appreciate every little thing in your life. You know what I mean? And it goes a long way, because there's like some studies as well, like scientifically, like your brain like is healthier when you're more thankful and I don't know what that word is, to be honest. We'll just move on, because as you guys could clearly see, I didn't do that well in English in high school. But either way, I'm gonna wrap this up, and then I'm gonna take you guys to the gym with me, and I'll answer the rest of the questions while I'm at. So it'll be a bit more fun rather than just sitting and watching me talking to this camera before I also have a tripod, by the way. I don't think I've ever told you guys that, but I bought a new tripod that actually holds nicely, not that like stupid sticky tentacle one. Pretty cool stuff. And I'll see you guys in a second. And to the gym we go, boys. All right, guys. As you can see, I'm now at the gym. And for the sixth section, it is financial responsibility and that side of things. So the first question was, how do I deal with budgeting, and how do I budget, stuff like that, while living alone? And simply put, I think I try and have all of your bills or whatever, or like I guess necessities, kind of like figured out in the beginning of the month. So like rent, obviously do it at the beginning, like first of the month. Like groceries, like there's some things that you're gonna buy maybe once every 2-3 months. Like you're gonna have a big grocery haul at first, and then you're gonna have like lighter ones. And it's just important to manage it well. Like I don't go out at all really. Like I'll maybe go out like to dinner with the guys. Realistically, I don't spend that much money, and you just want to like manage your account. Like they say, you can't, like you have to track your pennies before you track your dollars, right? So you want to be diligent. Like I said, I'm not rich or anything. You want to like really take everything into account. And then the second question of this section was, have you discovered any tips and tricks for saving money or budgeting or whatever? So your finances require discipline, and it's very important to be financially literate. I don't use Excel. I don't use any of that stuff. I kind of do everything in my mind, and I'm with TD Bank, so like everything's already there, like my spend, all that stuff. So just want to budget accordingly. So plan your stuff, and it goes a long way. Obviously, if something happens like miscellaneous, at least have some savings, so then you can fall back on. But everything should be fine. Just discipline financially, and don't go out too much. I also don't drink alcohol. Obviously, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim, so I don't have to worry about like dumb expenses. Yeah. All right, so the next section is performance, and it was like, how has living alone affected my academic or professional performance? And the second question is, how do I stay motivated during that time? Was actually mentioned in one of my older videos. I think it was like the update video. It was like why I haven't been uploading and stuff, and it's like the lack of motivation because of my environment. So like I don't have family here and stuff, so it's like kind of tough. On the other hand, you stay motivated in the sense that like I'm here, like I've came all this way from Calgary to Ottawa, for example. So I might as well perform, and I might as well put in the effort. I'm not saying it's easy, and it's like a tough mentality to have. Motivation kind of sucks, because it's always like motivation is always something that just goes up and down, up and down. Like sometimes you get that 3 a.m. motivation and stuff. It is really about discipline, and like I said, I haven't been disciplined in the YouTube channel, so I'm not trying to act like some guru. But the main motivation is that like I've moved away from family. I'm here for a purpose. I might as well. Has it affected my performance? Kind of. I think if I lived at home with a little less responsibility, then I would be able to focus a bit more on certain things. In terms of my professional career, I don't think so. In terms of school, I definitely think if I lived alone, I think I would have performed better. But that is obviously a big if. But I'm very content with what I'm doing. I wish sometimes, like for example, I wish I didn't have to stress about some things like cooking or like feeding. like in the end of the day, it's kind of like survival too, right? If I don't eat, I don't survive. So I have to worry about cooking. I have to not worry, but I do want to stay clean. It's important. Definitely affects me in a minimal manner, but I don't think it alters my performance like significantly. Like I'm not getting D's and C's because I'm living alone. Okay, so the eighth section is living environment, and it's how do I choose my living environment. The first time I moved out, I moved into some shitty apartment complex. It was very bad. Like it was very cold during the winter. Obviously, I didn't know, and like I'm already worrying about a lot of stuff, so I didn't sue or anything. There was mice in the building. We were getting taxed as well. Like we were paying like 875 or something like a month. It was very bad. But ever since that time, I've never rented a place that was so bad. Um, in third year, like the apartment that's in this video, sorry, not in this video. The apartment when I moved to Edmonton, the only one that I have recorded, that was a studio apartment, and I just needed a place for 4 months. It wasn't the greatest spot, but it was good enough. Like it was really what I needed. My opinion is that spend a little bit extra money for comfort. Obviously, it's tough. Like you do want a cheap spot, and like rent is actually so expensive, it's ridiculous. But like make sure of the spot that you're renting. I really regret living in that first spot. It was so bad. I wish I would have paid a bit extra. And then the second one is like, have I had any issues with my living arrangements or roommates or whatever? So yeah, I did have problems with my living arrangement because the place was so bad. But every other place has been okay. In terms of roommates, I've known every single roommate like before I moved in with them. I would highly recommend not to live with randoms. There have been a lot of stories. It's very, very, very hit or miss, and majority of the times, it's a miss. So, highly recommend not living with people that you don't know. Very, very do not recommend. All right. So for the ninth section, it's personal growth and how do I feel like I've grown as a person while living alone. And I can confidently say that I have become a man. Like, obviously, I think I'm a man. Like before I moved out, but I was only like 19 or whatever. But I'm definitely more manly, I think, more masculine. I think I'm more disciplined. I think I know how to take on responsibility and I know how to handle it well. There's never been a time where I lack so much. Like, obviously, I do have some sluggish days or I don't have good days, but at least I'm active during those days and I'm proactive. And like, there's no shame. There's absolutely no shame in having bad days. So I definitely have a better mentality. I'm more manly. I know how to take on responsibility. I'm more financially literate. I have better time management. There's so many positives from learning, living alone. The follow-up question is, do I have any advice for somebody looking to move out for their first year of uni or an internship? And genuinely plan well. You can never plan enough and you never know what to expect. But for example, if you're moving out with people, make sure you know those people. And also learning some skills. Like if you don't know how to cook at all, like if you have money and you just eat out all the time, fair enough. But if you want to save money and you're fully financially responsible for yourself when you move out, you definitely need to learn a lot of skills in terms of how to go grocery shopping, how to do this, how to do that. Like I've been grocery shopping for 3 years and it's cool, like it's fine, but it's another chore, it's another household chore. How to do your laundry, like you have to learn things. It's not hard, but when you accumulate responsibility, you start to feel burnt out. So you have to get used to something. My advice is just stay on top of your game and don't feel ashamed to have bad days, but don't try to have consecutive bad days. If you have a bad day, acknowledge it and try and move on. Life don't stop for nobody. But yeah, that's the ninth section. For the last and final section is future plans. Do I plan to live alone like after university? Honestly, the only reason why I'm living alone in the first place is because I don't have a choice. I go to University of Alberta, which is not where my parents are. I'm here because my parents aren't here. You know what I mean? If I had the choice to live at home, I would live at home. Obviously, God knows what He has planned for me in the future. And also, like my advice to anybody, if you live in the same city as your parents, it's not worth freedom to live alone in the same city. My opinion, of course. Honestly, cherish your time with your parents. You can hang out with your friends at uni, maybe after uni or whatever. But just live with your parents. You save so much more. You could hold responsibility at home. You just have to ask for it. Tell your mom, hey, I'll do the cooking. I'll do this. I'll do that. Take on responsibility and help your family. I don't know why you would put yourself in a burden or live in a disadvantaged state when you had the opportunity to live at home. You know what I mean? So do I plan to live in the future? Like, what do I have for the future? I don't know. If I find a job in Calgary, I'll probably live at home with my parents. And there's no shame in that. Consider how long I've lived alone already. So cut me some slack. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I hope this sheds some light. Take care and peace. Also, for anybody wondering, this is the tripod. That's me. What's up, guys? Anyways, goodbye.
أنها في وصال قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال.